My ultimate grail watch is a Rolex Explorer, but it's going to be a little bit of time before I'm able to save up enough money to buy one. So in this episode of the Budding Watch Enthusiast, we're going to take a look at 4 alternatives that you can get while you save for that grail. Hey guys, so a couple of videos back, I talked about my grail watches, and I have 2. And one of my ultimate grail, the big one, is the Rolex Explorer. So I thought it'd be fun to do a video to take a look at 4 watches that you can check out while you're saving money for that grail, while you're waiting for that grail that's going to be far off down the road. And these are 4 alternatives to the Rolex Explorer that I feel would be worthy substitutes. So what is it about the Rolex Explorer, first of all, that I love so much? I mentioned in the Grail video, I'll link that video down below that you can get it. But for me, the Explorer is the perfect watch. It's like I said, it's just a 3-hander, but it's a great combination of simplicity and ruggedness. It's no nonsense. It's very classically, it's got a very classic look to it. And I really appreciate all those things. It's durable, long lasting. These are all things that put it at the top of the list for me. So these are things that I'm looking for the watches that I'm going to talk about today as well. So I had there's 3 rules that I decided to follow when making this list. The first one has to be the watches have to come in at less than $2,000 each. This is, again, the Rolex Explorer I think retails for $6,500. This is supposed to be more affordable alternatives. Some are going to be more affordable than others. I actually purposely did a pretty wide range of prices, so hopefully a recommendation to appeal to every budget. I was looking for non-homage watches. I'm not looking for a direct duplicate of a Rolex Explorer. They're of course out there if you want them, but I was looking for non-homage alternatives because, you know, like I said, the Explorer to me is iconic, and when I do eventually get it, I want to get that specific one. I don't need an homage to live up to beforehand. The last thing is that the watch has to capture a similar vibe, and again, the thing I'm looking for, clean dial, simple color, simple pattern, no nonsense, durable, rugged, you know, it can take a beating but still looks great. Versatile, that's another big thing as well. It's got to be able to pair with a variety of different like outfits, different styles, which the Explorer definitely does. And so those are my 3 criteria. Before we dig into it, let me do my wristwatch check today. I am wearing the Seiko SKX 007, certainly not an alternative for the Rolex Explorer, but it's what I'm rocking on the wrist today on the Stratton watch company NATO strap. All right, so number 1 on my list, and I'm going to do these from lowest price to highest price. This is the Hemel Arrowhead. Hemel Watches is a micro-brand manufacturer that I'd seen their watches from before, but finally got a chance to handle some of the watches at the recent Mid-Atlantic get-together that I got to. And while their watches looked cool on the website, I actually have a much deeper appreciation for them after getting to see them and play with them in person a little bit. But yeah, look at this just fantastic dial on the Arrowhead here. It's a nice, clean, blue dial, 3-hander, no nonsense, nice fluted edge around the bezel. One of the things I think really stands out about this watch that is something you don't see every day on watches, even in its class, is the rounded case. It's really cool. Like I said, I didn't really notice it in pictures too much, but in person, really stands out. It's the first thing you notice about the watch. Very cool. This comes packed in with a Miyota 9015 movement, a movement that I'm very, very familiar with in other watches that I own, or one specific watch, the Sal Baltimore. So it's a very durable movement, a very potentially accurate movement as well. I know it has a wide tolerance range, but I've had great success with the one that I have so far, so a solid movement in there. And the biggest plus for this one is that it is extremely affordable. This watch only comes in at about $400, so that is very attainable for most people out there, I would guess. But yeah, like I said, excellent choice. I think the Hemel Arrowhead, if you're looking for a more affordable entry into this space, I think this is a solid choice to go with here. The next watch that we are talking about is going to be the Hamilton Aviation Automatic. The specific reference number that I'm looking at here is H76665135. I'm cheating a little bit. This is not a field watch, as the name would suggest. This is a pilot's watch. But when you look at the dial, I think you'll understand why I picked it. It's, again, supremely clean dial. You only have numerals for 12, 6, 3, and 9. I don't know why I said them out of order, but that's where your numerals are. And again, a very classic look, something that, you know, it will pair with anything. It's great, looks legible. I love Hamilton watches. Like I said, I love my khaki field Date 8 that I have is one of my favorite watches in my collection. They're super durable. Of all the watches in my collection, that's the one that I know that I would, if I had to go on like a really rugged adventure with, it would be a Hamilton for sure, because that thing can take a beating and still come out clean on the other side. This watch is, of course, powered, as you would expect, with a Hamilton watch by the ever-reliable ETA 2824 movement. As far as I can tell, it's just a straight 2824. It's not Hamilton modified in any way, shape, or form like they do sometimes with some of their watches. And it's funny because when I was looking at Hamilton watches, I did not see this watch originally. This was one that escaped my purview when I was deciding which Hamilton to buy. And this would have been definitely highly considered if I had seen it when I was looking around, because I love the look. It's a very elegant dial. It does have a date window on it, which I could take or leave with the type of watch that we're looking for here. And this one clocks in at $845 on a bracelet. If you're willing to do gray market, then you could obviously get it for a lot cheaper. I'm sure you could probably find it pre-owned for much cheaper as well. But yeah, $845 brand new on a bracelet. I think that if you're looking for a very reliable watch from a company that's been doing it forever, and again, Swiss made as well, I think this Hamilton Aviation Auto, very worthy substitute while you wait for your Rolex. The third watch in this list is from a company that I would have never heard of until I started looking into collecting a little bit more. This is from Ball, and this is the Engineer 2, the Ohio version specifically. A very, very popular substitute for a Rolex Explorer. It's got that field watch design. It's got that minimalist dial as well. Again, numerals only at the primary points. This one does also have a date 8 window on it too. Of course, with the Ball watches, you have their signature, which is the counterbalance on the seconds hand is their Ball railroad logo, which is very, very cool, very distinctive. Really makes it stand out. This comes on a really heavy-duty bracelet as well. Just a really cool looking watch, and again, from a company I would have heard nothing about if not for learning about this lovely hobby. I debated between this one and the Ball Fireman. I think overall I went with this one, even though it is cliched, and I've heard other people mention this watch as a Explorer alternative as well. I think it's with good reason. So this has the Ball RR 1102 movement, which is a modified ETA 2836. Now, I tried to find online what the modification that Ball made to the movement. Apparently, it's not actually like modded in any way where they didn't change any of the parts on it, but Ball only sources top grade ETA movements, from what I've understand in my half-assed internet research that I did on this topic, which means that the accuracy of the movement, even though it's not chronometer certified, even though it's not cost certified, still falls in that range. So you're going to get a very accurate and durable timepiece from them. So this watch retails brand new for $1,800, which is starting to get towards the higher end of things. However, I've seen them pre-owned on eBay for less than $1,000 pretty regularly. So again, if you're going to buy pre-owned, you got to make sure you do your research. You got to make sure that you are not getting hosed and that it's from a good seller. But again, I've seen even with box and papers that cheap for the pre-owned Ball Engineer too. Yeah, this watch is something I think I really want this watch. This might be one of the next purchases down the road once I've saved a little bit. I think that if you are going to go for something that really grabs the Explorer vibe, but still remains in that affordable range, but it still also kind of stands alone as well, the Ball Engineer 2 definitely seems like a great choice for that. Now, for the last watch on the list, I'm going to admit that I am cheating a little bit here, because I'm technically going to talk about a watch that has not yet been released. So you're saying, why the hell would you mention? Well, because it's coming out soon, and it is very common when you see, Rolex Explorer alternative lists to see the Tudor Ranger put on that list, and with good reason. The Ranger is Tudor's field watch, and it's a watch, I gotta be honest with you, I didn't think much of the Ranger until I got my hands on one. and actually had it on my wrist and got to see it firsthand. And it really blew me away much more in person than it ever could in any pictures that I had seen online. So yeah, the Ranger is on these lists for good reason. However, the Ranger comes in at right under $3,000 brand new, about $2,900. Again, you can find it for less than $2,000 if you search for pre-owned and if you get a good deal. But yeah, $3,000 is far too steep for the list that I want to make. But Tudor has another line of watches that's coming out later this year as of recording of this video, and that is the 1926 collection. But this is definitely a very, very similar looking watch to the whole vibe and the aesthetic that the Rolex Explorer is giving off for sure. The other cool thing about the 1926 collection is that there are tons of options. This watch is going to come in 41 millimeters, 38 millimeters, 36 millimeters, and 32 millimeters. So it doesn't matter what size wrist you have. There's gonna be one that fits you. And the only possible drawback, if you even look at this as a drawback, is again, we're talking about an ETA 2824 movement that comes in this watch. Now, it's got to be a easily sourced movement to keep the costs down, so I understand why they did it. But especially if you're getting into Tudor to check out, the Tudor in-house movements and things of that nature, I can see where that would be a bummer. Also, we're talking about nearly $2,000 for a watch that does have an ETA movement. There are other cheaper ETA alternatives. We've mentioned two on the list here, between the Hamilton Aviation Automatic and the Ball Engineer 2 that also carry ETA movements as well. So I can see why creeping up to this price point might not be something that if you're going into this price point, an ETA movement might not be what you're looking for. But that said, this watch is going to be $1,850 brand new on a bracelet from Tudor. That's a pretty good price for a watch from that company, and on a bracelet too to boot. Again, I'm not a huge fan of bracelets, but getting that Tudor bracelet at that price point with this watch, that's pretty good, I gotta say. Tudor is a sister company of Rolex. Not that you're getting the same features that you would see in an Explorer, but again, the vibe is there. The price is solid, and if you're looking for something to tide you over while you save, this is a pretty darn good option, the Tudor 1926 collection. And that is it. Those are the 4 watches that I think are terrific alternatives for the Rolex Explorer. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are there any watches that you think are fantastic substitutes that you can get that are much more affordable while you save and pine for that Rolex Explorer? If you could do me a huge favor, if you found this video informative, hit that like button down there at the bottom of the screen. Also, if you are new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for watching. Do me a huge favor, a bigger favor, hit that red subscribe button that's down there at the bottom, and also click that bell icon that's right next to it. That way you will be notified anytime that I post a new video here on the Budding Watch Enthusiast. I thank you guys very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.